Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the Olight PL-Mini. Nice new addition by Olight. Olight is always changing things up, always changing their products, always trying to improve them. I really like that about the company. And this one here has made some really interesting changes and I think really kind of opened the door for small weapon lights such as this. So we have this here on the Smith & Wesson M&P 9 Pro, and you can see it is quite a small, compact little guy, especially when you compare it to its predecessor, the PL-12, which is considerably longer, bigger, and heavier. So what is this guy? It's a 400 lumen integrated battery weapon light, small, tiny, single mode, so you don't have to worry about clicking 18 buttons to get where you want to get, and USB rechargeable versus the Olight charging system. And one of the beauties of this light is you can literally charge it in your holster. You can sit there and hook yourself up to a power bank, laptop, computer, whatever, anywhere where you got USB, and you can charge this with it directly on the gun. You never have to remove it, take it off, look for new batteries, whatever. Really cool for your average, kind of home defender, homeowner kind of person. Now, if you're going to be training for hours and hours and hours, tactical trainings, things like that, it's not going to cut it because it just doesn't have the run time to do long-term training. But for your average sitting in the nightstand waiting for bump in the night, this is more than adequate. All right, so this thing, and once we get over here, is going to come with instructions. Not that you really need them. This is pretty much as simple as they come. And as I mentioned, 400 lumens. After a minute, it bumps down to 60. IPX6 waterproof, so pretty much don't get it wet. Impact resistant to a meter. It comes with just like the other ones, it comes with the interchangeable rail for between Picatinny and Glock, and some extra screws, so you got that there. All right, so as you can see, this thing is very small, very unobtrusive, and hopefully by this point we're going to start cutting in some footage of this outside so you can kind of get an idea of the brightness outdoors. And by the way, this is very loaded, guys, but we're going to treat it like it's loaded, like we would any gun, guys. If you're going to treat guns like they're loaded, why not leave them loaded? So as I mentioned, this thing has a dual flipper, and it connects obviously via just very simply, and that's the rail I was talking about that you can change out with a couple of Torx bits. You literally just put that on there, close it, and you're good to go. That simple, that easy. The switch is ambi, so you can use it with your right or left hand. I am a lefty, obviously, so you can see we're doing this here, and I can access that very easily with my index finger. One complaint I do have about this is because it is a hinged lever. You can see there's a little kind of pin there, and there's this hinged button over this. Pushing forward, you have to put a lot of pressure to get it to activate. Pushing forward, you can see my hand shaking. I have to push so hard. But if you push down, no problem. It activates very easy. So that is just a matter of a lever, and just obviously you're going to get more leverage by pushing down as opposed to pushing forward. So that is one thing to note, guys. If you are very used to pushing forward, this may be a little awkward for you. Now, on the other hand, your support hand is very easy to hit this, and what you have is a single momentary when you hold it, or if you just tap it, it turns on completely. So, as I said, you can tap or hold for momentary. So you do have those two options. I think for me it reaches very well with that support hand. I would obviously use it with my support hand, being I don't have to reposition or anything. It actually fits my hand in this firearm very well for that purpose. But as I said, getting with the index finger, and I have very, very short fingers, holding the gun one-handed is a little difficult. If I do have my support hand there, no problem. But pushing forward does require a lot of force to turn that on. See, in fact, I'm not even getting it right now, but so as I said, you're going to have to get that little hinge is going to take some getting used to for a lot of guys. All right, so good, the bad, the ugly. I really like the size. I really like the integrated charging. I really like the brightness at 400 lumens. It's just perfect for me. I don't need a lot more because, as I said, this is for casual home defense, not for tactical training. I like, that they kept it very similar to the previous Olight product, so there's not a big change as far as user interface or anything like that. You are just easily switching over. I guess the only other complaint I have, aside from kind of that hinged button, is, the lack of waterproofing. But once again, this is a home defender, so not really going to be out swimming in the ocean with this thing, I guess, guys. So this thing is really interesting, and at the price, this thing is relatively inexpensive, very affordable for your normal guy. Olight has that 5-year warranty, so a lot of good stuff out of this for a very low price. Is it perfect? No. But is any weapon light perfect? No. These are all going to vary depending on your firearm, your hands, the shape of your hands, how you hold your firearm. All that are really going to determine it. Weapon lights are always a crapshoot as far as I'm concerned, because they always vary so much depending on the fit of the firearm and the fit of your hand. So finding one that's very comfortable, and in this case, this firearm combo is very comfortable for me to use that support hand like that, and I'm very pleased with that. So, and we'll back up here so you can kind of see the beam. You see you got a little bit of a hot spot and a little spill around it, lights up a room nicely, and hopefully you'll see some footage of that kind of cut in throughout this whole thing. But overall, guys, I like it. And here's the question, guys. Olight sent me this. If this broke today, would I buy it and replace it? And the answer is yes, I would actually buy this. I really do like it. It's that perfect kind of bedside defender. And plus, the USB interface. This, the fact that I have the other Olights and I can use the same charger to charge my flashlight as this, the same cable, the idea of maybe if I had to bug out and you take, this combination with me, that I would bring an Olight because I would have that same charging capability between the two. I don't have to bring extra charging cables and batteries or anything like that. It is pretty good. The only bads I'm seeing, guys, is that hinge switch I'm not a fan of, and the low run time. Like I said, you're only getting a little over an hour out of this thing. So if you are doing and planning to do long-term training sessions with this, you're going to run short, and then there is no way to replace the battery. You've got to literally sit there and charge it. So that is a downside if you're looking to use this for tactical purposes. If I were a police officer looking for a light for, say, my backup gun or something like that, or my home gun, or what I carry off duty, I wouldn't really pick this, because that 60 minutes, if you were really in a situation, like for example, recently what happened in Vegas, something horrible happening at night and you need light, that situation went on for nearly 2 hours. So yeah, but in the end, if you really need that extra light, bam, CR123s, replace them, you're good to go. So, in the end, that size, the weight, a lot of that just really goes into it. This thing really lends well to be a really nice, inexpensive bedside defender, something to put in your car, because it is small, inexpensive, it's unobtrusive, and really just integrates well with the firearm. So overall, very, very happy with this thing, guys. No signs of any problems after a couple hundred rounds through it. I got this thing to the range twice so far, and pretty much, like, it's still tight as it was on day one. It's not really loose at all, and I think the switch is broken in a little bit, and it is a little easier on me, to get the switch. So I think it did take a little time for that lever to kind of, adjust itself and get where it needed to be. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it, and this is definitely going to be something that's going to, stay on a firearm for those kind of bump in the night.